Welcome to One Girl in All the World, a Buffy the Vampire Slayer rewatch podcast where we recap each episode in order and discuss. I'm Ashley, Buffy superfan.
I'm Kimmy, Buffy newbie.
You can find us on all major podcast apps, YouTube, and Instagram with new episodes on Tuesdays. All right, today we're talking about Season 2, Episode 18. We're really getting close now. We are just...
almost a season finale.
Getting close to things really hitting the fan now. Yeah, so this is Episode 18. The original air date was March 3rd, 1998. It was written by Rob Deshotel and Dean Batali, so they are back again as a writing team, and directed by Duran Safarian. Oh God, I'm so sorry. It's so bad. I'm horrible at this. Okay. The synopsis for Killed by Death is, Buffy is admitted to the hospital with a raging fever when she encounters a young child who brings with him nightmares of Buffy's past and present. Meanwhile, a jealous Cordelia looks on as Xander protects a weakened Buffy from Angel's fury. So, I don't think that's a very good synopsis.
I feel like the last half of it was very exaggerated.
Yeah, I was like, there's like one conversation between...
Yep, and one little angel incident.
Yeah, like, they were like, we just need...
Incident?
And...
It's weird.
I don't know if he doesn't bring with him...
No.
Ryan has nothing to do with it, really. He's just one that Buffy talked to. About nightmares of Buffy's past and present. I don't... Yeah, that's a bad... Sorry. Okay, so what did you think off the top of your head?
I thought it was good overall. Not after most recent episodes. It wasn't as good, obviously. But yeah, it was still a solid episode. Yeah.
What were you going to ask? I stopped you because you were asking me something, but I wanted it to be on the record.
So we already had a hospital episode, so I'm just surprised this cousin thing didn't come up.
When was the hospital episode again?
That kid that got beat up by his coach.
Oh, right. Okay, Nightmares.
Way back one? Thank you, Nightmares.
So,
yes.
Okay, yeah. So they were in the hospital.
Yes, I know. She didn't have to stay in the hospital.
Maybe
I'm
that's...
surprised that fear thing didn't come up then. I don't know.
As a nightmare, or that she reacted to it in the hospital?
That she reacted to it, because she has such a visceral reaction this time that I'm just surprised it hasn't come up before. Anyway, that's a good eye, because I was like, when was she in the when were they at the hospital? I don't remember. Yeah. So good eye. I mean, she had to go there for a bit. I'd say. Yeah.
Yeah, because this kind of seems to come out of nowhere. So yeah, I get that for sure. Okay, so we get a little previously on, basically all the backstory with Buffy, Angel, and Jenny, because Jenny, unfortunately, R.I.P., is dead now.
Evil writers.
Yeah, it's just the beginning.
Oh, no.
Killing us all the time, always ripping our hearts out.
Cool.
Yeah, can't wait. All right, so we start out in the graveyard, and you can tell right away Buffy is struggling.
I thought she was sniffling. I thought she was crying, but she's
the sound effects are a bit heavy-handed.
No, I mean, she's sniffling, so that could be crying or sick. I just I assumed it was crying, but she's sick. I mean, I wrote looks bad.
Yeah.
She looks bad.
Or as Cordelia would say, how gross you look. We're all concerned about how gross you look, she says later.
Yes.
Yeah, so Buffy's patrolling, but she's struggling, and she's off her game, obviously, because she almost stakes Xander. Yeah. And she runs into the to the gang. And
I don't know, why is she patrolling when she's sick?
Yeah, so they're supposed to be out there for her. They're patrolling so she would be home resting. And
Xander says it's not the time to challenge the ultimate fighting champ.
Yeah. He's like, yeah.
Some good lines in this episode.
He does. He's like, Angel's at full strength and you're only half a Slayer. She's like, but I'm still the Slayer and I can't let Angel kill anybody else. So she's really heavily carrying Jenny's death on her as she feels guilt for it.
And just as she says that,
guess what? Oh, one little tidbit before we get to that that's important. Cordelia says this flu is a serious deal, that half the school's out with it. So there's a really bad flu going around. So that's important to note for later. But when she says, I'm not going to let Angel kill anybody else, and then guess who shows up? It's Angel.
Jumps in just as, speak of the devil.
Yeah, speak of the demon. He says, I can't do one more, and he tackles Cordy. And he goes right for Cordy.
And Buffy jumps on.
Buffy jumps on him, pulls him off. She's fending him off, but she doesn't really have the upper hand because she's obviously weakened.
She's off her A game.
Yeah, and he does get the and he notices. He says, "Oh, what lover aren't you? Are you not?" He calls her lover. Are you not like feeling 100% or something like that? So he knows that she's struggling, and he's about to like win the fight.
Yeah.
But then I put down, Scooby save her with a blanket. They throw a blanket over Angel's head to kind of disorient him, and Xander gets a few punches in because of that, and then they use the crosses to keep him away.
The crosses to ward him off. That actually really does work, huh?
And he's like, oh, fine, bye.
And then
You best me this time.
Take a hike over, Bite.
Yeah.
Singer!
Yeah.
I like that. That's so cute.
Yeah, Xander already has good lines already. Yeah, so Angel leaves, and then Buffy is like, I told you guys to leave, and she's all like woozy and everything, and she faints. And then we come back, and they're all rushing into the hospital, and Xander is holding Buffy.
And she's still passed out. So just like as from a medical standpoint, if someone is passed out for more than a minute, that is actually considered a medical emergency. If it's less than a minute, it's just like it could be like a vagal reaction, not like a big deal, but like, I mean, for them to get from the cemetery to the hospital and she's still passed out, that's pretty bad.
And she probably would survive longer than normal people because she's a Slayer, but the medical team doesn't know that. They don't know. I don't think they've put it to the test, really. Except for like when she wasn't passed well, she drowned. But yeah, so Buffy's more hardy than others, but yeah, she's been out for a while, and he had to carry her. Like, I'm sure he couldn't go fast. Or maybe Corey had her car? Still though, like it's definitely like minutes. It's definitely several minutes at least. Yeah. So it's not good. She's very sick. They take her back, and they obviously won't let the kids go back there. So they say they're going to call Giles and Joyce.
And like, they're like tell Giles, or they're going to call Giles and tell him what happened, and then they tell they're going to call her mom and tell her not what happened.
Yeah, tell Giles everything that happened. Tell Joyce not what happened, basically.
That was cute.
But they're all like, it's like, what? She was like hanging out with them, and she got sick and fainted, which is like the truth. Yeah. Like, they kind of made it feel like Angel put her in there, but she was about to pass out any second anyway.
I guess they didn't want to tell Joyce that she was in the hospital.
I guess so.
In the graveyard, fighting a demon.
Yeah. Yeah, that part. So Giles and Jenny arrive, and they tell God, no, my heart. Oh, no, Jenny. No. It's just G and J go together, and
they do. Yeah.
Giles and Jenny. Giles and Joyce arrive at the hospital, and they haven't heard anything yet, but the doctor comes out and tells Joyce that Buffy's going to be okay, but she has to stay here for a few days because she has a really high fever. Mm-hmm. And Buffy immediately, they do see Buffy, and she wants to leave immediately when they find out that she's
trying to like fight. She's trying to break free.
Yeah, they have to restrain her and calm her down.
Sedate her.
Thank you. They have to sedate her, and she's out of it, right? So, but she tells Giles, "I had the vampires, they're out there."
And he's just like, "Yeah, the fever."
He's like, "Oh, we'll get those vampires later." And he's like, "I hear it's best to play along." Everybody, like Willow and like Xander are like, "Oh God," when she starts talking about the vampires. But yeah, so they take her into her room when she's sedated, and her mom's like, she really hates hospitals because her cousin Celia died in a hospital, and Buffy was alone with her was alone with her.
She's only 8.
Yeah, was alone with her when it happened she was 8. So she was alone with her cousin. Who they said they were very close. Yeah. So that's really traumatic for a kid.
Okay, so I got the question right?
Yes. Kind of? Yeah, I would say so.
Someone died.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Someone a family, like someone she was close to. Yeah, 100%.
Okay, woo.
Yeah. And Buffy does say she's going to go call Buffy's dad.
Yeah.
So Hank is still in the picture, and at least enough
sorts.
At least enough where she knows where to call him, and feels that he should know if his daughter's in the hospital at this point.
So I thought this was a nice scene with Joyce and Giles. How Joyce says how much she appreciates him. She's sorry for that teacher. She says it really affected Buffy. Yeah, I thought that was kind of like a nice moment between them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. She just apologizes for his loss, and Buffy said you guys were close, and if he needs anything. And Giles kind of just wants to just not talk about it.
Yep, understandably.
Yeah, so also when with the phone that Giles leads Jenny to, it's gonna happen the whole episode. I'm gonna say Jenny instead of Joyce. when the phone that Giles takes Joyce to isn't plugged into anything.
Oh,
the jack is like completely empty.
You're so good at these things. I totally don't know.
Well, I do a lot of research after my first watch. I don't catch all this stuff on the first watch. Okay. But yeah, it's just like it's not connected to anything, so she's not gonna get a hold of Hank that way. Okay, so Cordelia, Willow, and Xander are outside of her room saying, "What do you think she's gonna be okay?" And Cordelia says, "Yeah, she should get that thing done on her face while she's here."
What is she even talking about?
I don't know. No one knows what she's talking about. It's something Cordelia sees, like some imperfection that Cordelia sees that nobody else sees. She says her friend Lisette came into this regular hospital to get her nose done.
Yeah, no.
Like for plastic surgery at this regular hospital.
It doesn't happen.
Looking for like the Gwyneth Paltrow and came out with more of like the Mr. Potato Head. Yeah, I guess if you're going to a regular hospital for a nose job.
To a regular hospital, yes, because that's not the specialty.
Yeah, for a nose job. That's probably was her first mistake there. Yeah, and they say, like, what about Angel? And Xander kind of clarifies something from last episode. It's a public building, so he doesn't need an invite.
He's welcome to enter.
Yep. Yeah, he can come in. So we kind of fast forward to that night. Everybody's, like, gone. Like, well, it's in the middle of the night. And Buffy wakes up and looks out to the hallway and sees a little boy walk by, kind of look at her and then slowly walk away. And then followed by some kind of, like, monster.
Super creepy.
Thing. Yeah. With a top hat. It's cool looking.
It looked like something out of almost Friday the 13th, kind of. But, yeah, like different. But kind of, it reminded me of that anyway. So
she gets out of bed and goes to follow it. Not well. She gets out of it. She's, like, struggling. And as she's walking down the hallway, she gets, like, a hospital flashback of when she was a kid. Of walking down a hospital corridor. And then all of a sudden she... Go ahead.
I was just saying, she looks down and sees all these creepy-ass hospital tools.
Yeah. It looks like what Marcy was putting out to cut up Cordelia.
Yes.
That's what it reminds me of.
It looks like something from the 20s? I don't know.
So then she just wakes up in bed and walks again out into the hallway. She kind of pulls her IV out. I hate when people do that.
So this is funny, actually. She did pull her IV out because the first time she woke up, I didn't realize it was a dream at first. And I literally wrote in huge capital block letters, she can't get up like that. They literally just showed her putting an IV in or her IV dripping. And then they actually showed her waking up and pulling her IV out. So I'm glad they caught that.
Yeah. I hate in movies and TV shows and anything where people like yank out. They always yank it out. And I'm like, it's so triggering for me. I hate when people do that.
You can't really do that, Justine. Typically, they don't put it in your hand, especially like Buffy. She's a young woman. So you don't need to put... A hand is going to be if you can't find an arm vein. They would put it in her arm.
But I hate when people do that and like rip them out. I'm like, I just can't take it. So once I look back at the TV, Buffy had pulled that out and she like goes kind of inspecting in the hallway. And we see a security guard just kind of like watching her.
Yeah.
He kind of pops his head out of another hallway and just kind of creepily watching her.
Yeah. Yeah.
Buffy makes her way to the children's ward, which she's probably in the children's ward because she's under 18.
Oh, yeah, that's true, actually. Yep.
But it's a room with really younger kids, like elementary school.
Big room with a bunch of kids.
Yeah. And they are wheeling a body out, and they say something along the lines of, "Oh, it's a real shame when you like lose a kid." So we know it's
so young. Yeah,
lose them so young. It's a little kid that's died.
Sad. Yeah.
And then she hears her doctor, Dr. Wilkinson, and then another doctor arguing about raising the sick kid's temperature. So basically, he's like doing some kind of experimental treatment on the kids, and her doctor, who's a woman, is concerned about it and wants to report him to the board.
Yeah, they're arguing about dosage, medication dosages. Yep.
And so then she turns around and she sees who we come to know as Ryan and some other kid, and he says that he comes at night. Grown-ups don't see him, and she says who, and he says Death.
That's super creepy.
Mm-hmm. So there, like, I usually break everything down by location, but we spend 90% of the time in the hospital. So, we're both.
Yeah, I wrote hall for this one.
Yeah. So we're in the hallway.
Different hall.
Yeah, different hallway, and Xander is sitting outside of her room, Buffy's room.
Yeah.
And Angel walks in.
With flowers. How nice.
Nice. I know. What a good boyfriend.
So thoughtful.
He draws portraits of her and leaves them on her pillow. He thinks of her friends. He brings flowers for her when she's in the hospital. Like, what is she complaining about?
I love how Xander's like, or tells him how visiting hours are over and you can come back during the day. Oh, I guess you can't. The Xander lines in this episode.
Yeah, so he wants to see Buffy. Of course, Xander says, I'm not going to let you. And he's like, oh, you can stop me? He's like, maybe not, but I'd like to see if all these people around here could stop you. No. And they probably couldn't, honestly, Xander. No. If he wants to get in there, he get in there.
It's going to cause a huge scene, and Angel's not super into that. At the moment, at least.
It would cause a huge scene. So, and Angel kind of gets to Xander by saying, like, you're still in love with her. It must really kill you that I got there first. And Xander doesn't rise to the occasion, really. Yeah. He calmly says, you're going to die and I'm going to be there. Mm-hmm. He says it calmly, like, he's always hated Angel. So Angel just decides to leave, but he's made his appearance. And he says, like, tell her I stopped by. And when he came in, he was whistling Beethoven's Ninth Symphony.
Oh, again, nice catch. Totally didn't notice that. Oh, okay.
And then we have Buffy having another flashback when she's playing with her cousin, who we're assuming is her cousin.
Power Girls.
Yes, Power Girl. So that reference is to a 1976 a superhero that first appeared in comics in 1976. I had never heard of Power Girl before.
I've never heard of it either. I thought it was something they made up. Okay.
Yeah. So it's an old superhero.
That's cute. Okay.
And then it goes from them playing Avalanche to her seeing her in a hospital bed. Mm-hmm. Buffy seeing Celia in a hospital bed, and then Buffy wakes up. The doctor says that Buffy's fever has gone down.
She's surprised the swelling is gone?
Yeah, but she has to stay there for a few more days. So Angel had, like, I don't know, broken or heavily sprained Buffy's wrist.
Oh, okay.
And she says, oh, like, your arm is completely healed. Like, how crazy is that? Well, because she's a Slayer, right? Slayer, healing. Mm-hmm. And she really wants to get out, and she's like, yeah, not quite yet. You have a pretty bad flu. And then the gang arrives with gifts, which is cute. And Xander brings balloons, which he says are flowers.
Flowers for me, lady. And she says, those are balloons. And he's like, yeah, stick in water. Maybe they'll grow.
Yeah, I had good lines. Willow brings her homework done. At first, Buffy's like, this is not a good gift. And she's like, it's already done.
She's like,
did all her assignments for her.
Something about chocolate. Get well soon. Something about chocolate?
She says, oh, it's nothing. Willow says something about, like, giving her this, like, to get well. And she's like, chocolate says that, too. And she's like, I did them all. She's like, chocolate means nothing to me. Like, I'd rather have all my homework done for me than have chocolate. So Willow knows the way to Buffy's heart. And Cordelia didn't bring anything. And she gets kind of, like, everyone kind of like, oh, Cordelia.
Typical Cordelia.
And Giles brings a bag of grapes that he was snacking on in the background.
Yeah, that was really weird. So
what is that?
Really about not bringing something, and he just brought his, like, leftover snack.
Yeah. Is there something about bringing grapes to people in the hospital? British?
I don't know. I think that's weird. It's a choking hazard if you're lying down in bed.
Yeah, really. What are you trying to do? Isn't she died enough already? So Buffy tries to tell them about what she saw, but there's a nurse in the room, so she says, let's go for a walk. And so outside the hospital, they're wheeling her around. And she's like, I can, like, get used to this, being wheeled around in my wheelchair. And she tells the gang about what she saw, meeting Ryan, what Brian said about seeing death. And Xander says, don't play chess with death. He's really good. And he's referring to a 1957. Like, Xander has some, like, pretty obscure film references. Like, this is the second, like, we've had more, but 2 episodes in a row now. A 1957 movie called The Seventh Seal, where a medieval knight plays chess with death for his life.
Huh. That's interesting.
So Xander's like, don't play with him. He's really good at chess. If you don't play chess with death. So Buffy tells them about Dr. Backer, how he's doing some kind of experimental treatment on the kids, and that Ryan is saying that it's death is coming for the kids and that the adults can't see them. Cordelia says something, and later on Giles kind of, for a while, thinks that this probably could be it, that Buffy is inventing a monster, something that she can fight physically, because sickness and death is something that she can't fight.
So she doesn't feel so helpless.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But they do offer to help. They're not going to just write it off because they've done that with her before. And they're going to do some research into it. In the records room, Xander and Cordelia sneak into the records room because the little girl that died named Tina, they want to look at her medical file and see like what happened. What happened to her. And while they're looking, Cordelia gets caught by that security guard.
Yep.
In the library, Willow and Giles are doing research. And this is where Giles says he thinks Cordelia may have a point about Buffy inventing something that she can fight and something that she can control, that she can't fight illness and death. Hey, but Willow says, yeah, but we also live on a hellmouth, so we should probably consider that too.
Yeah.
And then they kind of brainstorm and think, hey, they trying to figure out what this could be. And Giles says that kids can sometimes see someone's like true self, true face. Yeah. So it could be an actual person in the hospital, and they're seeing him as a monster.
Yeah, like things adults wouldn't see. Maybe.
Yeah, like they can kind of see into like what the inner person looks like. Mm-hmm. So this person could look like a monster because they're a bad person. Right. And they're like, Dr. Backer looks like a pretty good suspect for that.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
In the records room, Cordelia flirts with the guard, and he's very receptive to it, which is gross.
Super into it.
He's obviously,
especially because he's
way older.
Yeah.
It's just gross. She's distracting him so Xander can get out of the records room with Tina's file. And so when he's gone, she's like, okay, bye. And leaves. And then they have this kind of, I think, a little bit weird conversation in the hallway. Yeah.
Like, he snips at her for flirting with the security guard when she was just trying to make sure they didn't get caught. Like, well, what is that?
Yeah, she's like, are you jealous?
So weird.
And then
he just tells her to bring the file to Giles so he can stay and watch Buffy. And Celia's like, oh, right, your obsession with Buffy. Can I tell you how unattractive that's not?
Yeah, and she's like, basically, I've seen you, like, watch her back. And what she means by that is, like, look at Buffy's ass.
Yeah.
And it's just weird. And then she walks away, and then Xander checks out her ass. And
because she's like, now you can watch my back, and walks away. And then he does check her out.
Yeah. I think she didn't, like, that was, it was weird. It was a weird scene.
Yep.
They were like, we need some kind of beast plot line that doesn't take up too much time, so we'll do this.
They just need them snipping at each other. I don't know.
It's just weird. Like, why is Cordelia dating him if he's in love with somebody else? I just don't get it. But to each their own, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
In the kids' ward, Buffy talks to Ryan and sees him drawing a picture of a monster. And he says that he's going to come again tonight, and that Buffy says, there are heroes in the world that, like, want to fight, these bad monsters, and I'm one of them. And he's like, you can't fight death.
You can't fight death? Ugh.
In the library, Willow looks up Dr. Backer and says he has a pretty bad history, or at least a colorful history. There was, like, a malpractice suit. He doesn't have the cleanest... Yeah, he doesn't have the cleanest record for a doctor. So they are even more suspicious of him now.
Mm-hmm.
In Dr. Backer's office, we have a quick scene of him just making notes and, like, going over to his refrigerator, taking a tube out, like a test tube, and, like, just writing something on it. So we just have him in his office messing about. In the hallway, Cordelia brings Xander some food and, like, donuts and coffee. So it's kind of like a peace offering.
I thought that was kind of cute, actually.
Yeah, it's like a peace offering. He kind of looks at her and smiles, and it has his little
she sits beside him and takes out a magazine, and she's like, I'm here with you.
Yeah, she's going to join him on watch. We see Dr. Backer going into the children's ward, and Buffy sees him and follows.
With the vial.
With the vial. Mm-hmm. And he's about to give, I don't know if it's Ryan or a different kid, but is about to give one of the...
different kid.
Okay. We're about to give him an injection. And I don't know if he actually gives it fully or not. He doesn't. No. Okay. Mm-hmm. And while he's in the process of trying to do this, he is attacked by some invisible force. And is kind of like being beat up and murdered in the children's ward. All the kids are screaming.
So creepy.
Yeah. And eventually gets thrown out into the hallway, and Buffy sees him being thrown out, goes to him.
Dragged away.
Yeah. She goes to him, and then she gets knocked back by this invisible force.
Right, yeah.
And then she sees him, like, being dragged away.
By nothing. Ugh.
By nothing, yeah. The way his, like, he was just, like, his arms up and everything. It was creepy looking.
Yeah. It was actually a really creepy scene. Yeah. This episode is creepy, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. The next morning, they find out that Tina was improving a lot right before she just dramatically declined and died.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're like, I think you were right. Dr. Backer's up to something. And Buffy's like, it's not him. He was attacked by something in the kids' ward, and he's dead. So he's not the person we're looking for.
And she shows him the drawing.
And when Giles is like, is this your work? And she's like, no, it's one of the kids. She's like so offended. Joyce comes in and says that Buffy can go home now, and Buffy's like, oh no, like I have this thing to solve now. Now I have to stay. I don't feel good, Mom. I don't feel good. I gotta stay. And so she goes out to talk to the doctor to say, oh, Buffy needs to stay longer.
Yeah.
Giles is going to do some more research, and Buffy and Willow are going to go to Backer's office and sniff around and see what they... She said, I'm going to see if I can find a Post-it note, like, reasons a monster wants to kill me, or reasons a monster would want to kill me.
I like the whole scene where, like, they're going to talk about Buffy and Willow going to look into the medical stuff. And Willow says something about, oh, yeah, that'd be a good fit because she used to play doctor. And everyone looks, with Xander, and everyone looks at Xander, and he's like, oh, no, literal doctor. Willow had medical volumes and diagnosed me. He didn't have the heart to tell her that she was playing it wrong. And then she's, like, so sad and offended, and she's like, wrong? Why? How did you play doctor?
Okay. I was with Willow on this. I had no idea what they were talking about.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
I had to Google it and put, like, what does playing doctor in quotes mean?
So you never played doctor?
Not like that, no. Like, I was like, you, like, lay down, you're like, oh, let me take your temperature, oh, you have a broken arm, or whatever, but clothes stayed on. There was no inspecting of genitals, is what Google said.
Okay, well.
No. I was like, what? I don't remember this. Like, what are they?
Some of us were curious.
I was like Willow. I was like, got my encyclopedia out. Like, oh, you have a fever. Let me take your fever. Oh, let me put your arm in a cast with toilet paper. That was like me playing doctor. I had no idea what they were talking about.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny.
Yeah.
Did you ask Matt? Does Matt know what it is?
I didn't bring it up, actually.
I'm scared to take a poll. Okay, if who's listening to this, can you write in the comments if you knew what that
if you were with we on Willow's side of the conversation or everybody else's. Because we're split 50-50 here. So, yeah, I had to Google that. Because I was like, what are they... Like, why?
Oh, you're so cute and innocent. Let's keep you forever.
I know. In the children's ward, we see, or the children's room, where all the kids are, Ryan ducks his head out of a door and, like, looks around and, like, sees the security guard coming and then, like, closes the door. So he's up to something. In Backer's office, Willow and Buffy find out, like, Willow looks at his notes and everything and finds out that he was giving them something to raise their temperature, part of the virus, to raise their temperature,
yep,
to burn the fever out.
Yep.
So he was actually trying to save them.
And it was starting to work.
Yeah.
He really was trying to help them. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
In the library, Giles and Cordelia are trying to find the demon based on pictures. So they're trying to match it.
So funny.
Yeah, Cordelia's not being very helpful. She just wants to know what all these demons do.
What does this one do? What does this one do? What does this one do? And Giles is like, it asks endless questions of those whom it's supposed to be working so that nothing gets done. She's like, oh boy, there's a demon for everything. She doesn't even get it. Oh my gosh.
And I like when they were like making their plan to like split up. Xander was like, where do you go, Giles? He's like, why do I have to?
And then he stops himself. Why do I get this one?
Yeah, why do I have to? This is why. This is why he reacted that way. So they, she closes the book and there's actually a illustration of him, the monster on the cover.
Yep.
So they call Buffy, and Cordelia tells her that it's called Kinstad,
yes,
which means child death, and so it sucks the life out of kids.
Sad.
And it kind of like, Giles tells her that it like pins them down and like immobilizes them and then sucks life out of them.
Yeah, and then it just makes it look like they were sick.
Yeah. And so Buffy realizes, because she saw her cousin die, that this is what happened to her cousin.
Yeah, that's
she realizes in that moment.
Creepy and terrible.
Yeah.
And then she has a flashback and she can see her cousin screaming and fighting, and it's just like the creepiest thing.
Yeah. It does look like she's trying to fight something off, physically off of her.
Mm-hmm.
And Buffy figures out that the fever is the key to seeing it.
Yeah.
And yeah. So her and Willow go to Backer's office, and they find the vial of the stuff that he was giving them, because Buffy's like, I have to see it to fight it, and I need the fever. So apparently this is going to raise her temperature to 107.
Which is, yeah. Okay.
Bad.
I have so many things to say about this, but I won't. It's fine. Okay. But she's a Slayer, so maybe it's different.
Yeah, she's a higher tolerance. And she's about to down the whole thing.
Also, yeah, she drinks it. You can't, this doesn't medically work. Anyway.
It's fine, so nice that Willow stops her. It's like, no, you have to dilute it.
But also, like, you don't drink it. You would inject it. You don't drink it. Anyway.
Yeah. So Buffy gets a few drops of it and drinks the water. So it kicks in pretty quick, and Willow is helping Buffy kind of struggle to the kids' ward, and she looks in, and they're gone. The kids are gone. How annoying. And then Buffy sees the monster start to materialize in the kids' room because her fever is high enough now, and then she sees it. Yeah, she sees it walk into a door that says basement access.
Yeah,
and then they are discovered by Buffy's doctor. They run and are chased by security.
And then Willow pretends there's frogs crawling over her and starts freaking out. And
do you remember when she said earlier, I forget what episode it was, Willow fell asleep at the computer and woke up and was like, frogs. She's like, I have frog fear.
Oh, I forgot about that. No.
So this is something that she just materialized because she's scared of frogs.
And that's so funny because Buffy runs off, and the security guards are totally distracted, and the doctor runs in, and they're like, not her, the other one. Yeah,
and she's like, no more frogs. Yeah, so Willow sacrifices herself so Buffy can get away and get down to the basement. Xander goes down she runs into Xander on the way, and her and Xander head into the basement.
So, we're in the basement.
Yeah, so the kids have run into the basement.
Death is walking towards the kids. They're trying to hide.
Yeah, he grabs Ryan. And this is where we see him try to suck the life out of Ryan.
It's actually really creepy. Like, I'm watching it and I'm like, oh God. Like, it actually really does wake me out a bit.
It's gross.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Yeah, so the eyeballs kind of retreat.
Like, come out?
Ugh, it's making my skin itchy.
Or yeah, I know. Yeah, they fall back or something like that. And then some weird tentacle type thing?
Yeah, sure. Like a sucker tentacle thing. Out of both eye sockets. Yeah, boom. Come out. And like attached to
his forehead? Yeah. Forehead. It's not okay.
It's disgusting. And starts sucking the life out of him. But thankfully, Buffy gets there just in time and knocks him off.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she can see him fully now. Even though she's not fighting at her top strength, at least she can see him.
It's definitely weak, yeah.
Yeah, and Xander gets Ryan out of there and gets the kids out of there.
Yeah.
So Buffy's struggling, fighting with him, doing okay. But he does overpower her and get her down, and he tries to suck the life out of Buffy, so his eyeballs come out again.
Her down.
Yeah, and his eyeballs like blah, 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 come out again. Ew.
So gross.
And she just snaps his neck, and he's dead. Pretty.
That's it.
Quickly.
Very
pretty anticlimactic. Yes. It was like there was another episode where it just wrapped up way too quick. I think it was Reptile Boy, maybe, when she just was like fighting, and then she went and just sliced it in two, and it was over. Yeah, and so he's dead, and she just immediately just broke his neck. So it was a little bit like, oh, okay. The fight was a bit short.
Yeah.
From all the lead up. And yeah, and then her and Xander leave, and he's like, she's right?
He's like, are you okay? And she's like, yeah, I'm starting to feel better. And he's like, you're not gonna yak on me, are you?
Yeah, so Buffy has to get better again, because now she's taking this thing to make her sick. And then we go to Buffy's bedroom. This is such a funny scene where Buffy's in bed, still on the mend, and her mom brings her peanut butter and jelly sandwich with no crust, this and that. And then Buffy says, oh, I wanted crunchy peanut butter.
And also more jelly or something?
I also asked for extra jelly. I'm sending it back to the kitchen, at the restaurant, because it's not right. And then Willow's there and asks if Joyce would mind bringing her a refill since she's up. She's so comfy. And then Xander wants her to bring another bag of chips. So she's waiting on all these
we don't
kids.
have any. That's the last bag. And he's like, oh, I know there's one hiding.
Yeah. There's one behind the raisins. Is what
Damn, cheeky.
So yeah, they're all just being taken care of. I would have liked it. Not that I want them to be sick, but it would have been funny if Xander and Willow had caught the flu too. and they were all in there together. That would have been funny.
Together. That would have been cute.
Yeah, but they were just being lazy and keeping her company.
And I thought it was so cute at the end how her mom comes in and she got a card from Ryan and it's a picture of her and she's slayed death.
Yeah, she's slaying death, the child death, and her mom's like, "Oh, how nice."
Because what do you say about a weird ass drawing like that?
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, it's from Ryan. Oh, he drew you a picture. Oh, well, that's nice, dear."
Yeah.
Yeah, so Ryan drew her a picture of her victory over the monster. And that's the end of the episode. So, yeah, not pretty self-contained episode. So, I would say my favorite line is when Cordelia says, "Lisette got her nose done here. She came in looking for the Gwyneth Paltrow, and it looked more like the Mr. Potato Head."
That was a good line. I like that.
And then my favorite scene, I actually think, was the last one. The one where they were all in Buffy's room. It was just, like, a lighter scene than we've had in a while.
I agree.
Because of how, everything, because of all the stuff happening. And I know, this is a nice, really light scene. I just think it's adorable. I just really liked it. And Joyce was really good in this episode.
She was. I will give you that. Yeah. Joyce has redeemed herself quite a bit.
Yeah, she's doing better.
She was a good mom. Yep. Okay.
Doing better. She even was like, "Oh, honey, no problem. Whatever to make you feel better. I'll remake your sandwich." It was sweet. Yeah,
that was cute. It was sweet. Yeah. They fought off Angel in the beginning, and Xander said, "Take a hike over bite."
That is good.
That's so funny. And then actually same as me. My favorite scene is the same as yours for the same reasons. It's just so cute. Yeah. I loved it.
Yeah, it was just adorable. And it was nostalgic for me too. Like when you're sick and as a kid and stuff.
When you're sick and your mom just like really takes care of you.
I want the popsicle. Oh, I need a tissue. Whatever. Really milking it. Okay. So my steak rating actually wasn't that high.
Yeah.
I'm going to put it up a little bit. 3.5 out of 5.
Damn. Okay.
Yeah.
What was it before that?
3.3.
Okay.
I liked the demon. I think he was really cool. Like visually, the eye thing is gross, but like just him in that top hat and like the teeth and stuff looked really cool, and the white hair and a bald head.
It was really good. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he was like a good design for the monster. It just didn't hold my attention very well. This one. I liked seeing Buffy more human, like in a weakened state. Didn't like it, but it was different because she's always so strong and capable and healthy and physically strong and emotionally strong, less so, but usually so physically strong.
Humanity.
Yeah, it made her a little more human. And I said Joyce is growing, so Joyce is being a better mom than she has in previous episodes.
Yep. Agreed.
But it's just not up there for me, really.
Yeah. No, I agree. I actually gave it a 3.8, so...
Okay.
Yeah, I did like... I thought that the demon was a good one. It was interesting. It actually... To be honest, this episode did keep my attention. Just, I think, the medical aspect more than anything, really.
Good point, yeah.
Yeah, so that was it. That was it for me. But, yeah, I thought it was cute. It had some good scenes. Xander had a lot of really good lines. More witty stuff between Cordelia and Xander. Joyce redeemed herself quite a bit. Giles had some funny lines too. Yeah, so I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, and
I thought it was like decent. It wasn't great.
Yeah. I think now you brought up Cordelia and Xander, like that's also something I didn't really care for. I just thought it was weak.
Yeah, I guess that's true.
A storyline.
I just like they keep mentioning Xander and Buffy a lot. Like I don't. They keep pushing it. I don't like where this is going. I don't know.
Right, so you think like they should they keep bringing up a romantic something or other between Buffy and Xander.
Yeah, I think it's
on
weird.
Xander's side, obviously.
Yeah. It's weird anyway. Okay.
Yeah, because you would think like Xander's moved on, right? Like he's with somebody else.
He clearly has feelings for her though.
And Cordelia knows it. Like Cordelia knows that he likes her, but he's like really likes Buffy. So like I would be like,
it's easy to say you break up with somebody over that, but
I just wouldn't have like
do it. I don't know. Sometimes weird stuff happens.
And Cordelia is like very confident and stuff. I feel like, you'd drop me in a hot second if she was interested. So I don't know. It's weird to me.
Yeah.
But. Anyway, it was a good episode. It was fine. All right, so your question for next week. The title of the episode is I Only Have Eyes for You. Mm-hmm. A dance is coming up at school. Which one is it?
Okay, school dance, right? So the last episode aired in March.
This one's March, yeah. March.
So I don't actually know American dance lineage. Like, I know in Canada our proms are in May. I feel like maybe Americans are in May too. So, and Canada also doesn't have all of those dances that you guys have. There's like those semi-formals and the spring fling and the Sadie Hawkins. Like, we don't have any of those.
But you know of them.
I know of them, yeah. Mm-hmm. Is it too early for a spring fling? And they're not in their last year of high school, right?
No.
So
they're juniors.
They're juniors, so probably not prom. Let's go with Sadie Hawkins dance.
Okay.
Yeah, it's either that or spring fling, but I'll just say Sadie Hawkins final answer.
Did you guys have Sadie Hawkins?
No.
Okay, we did.
We basically had prom, and then the other dances were called dances.
Just dances.
Yeah.
Dance, monkey, dance. Come to the gym and dance. So that wraps up Season 2, Episode 18, Killed by Death. Again, you can find us on all major podcast apps and YouTube and Instagram at One Girl in All the World Pod. You can email us at onegirlpod@gmail.com. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back next week with Season 2, Episode 19, I Only Have Eyes for You. See you real soon.